Well, there's this huge spider on the wall right now, and I have no idea what to do. No amount of preparation for travel is going to prepare you for something like that. Oh my god, if I saw that in my life in the US, I think I would run away, run as far as I can, but there's nowhere to run here. So I think I'm just going to take this as a sign that I need to leave the apartment and start my day. Spider update is that spider is right by the door somewhere, and I need to unlock the door to get out of the apartment. So I'm just hiding on the balcony still. I think Hassan should be coming over soon, so hopefully I can communicate to him that there's a huge spider by the door, and somebody can take care of it. Somebody who isn't me. This is not actually how I was planning to open a new episode of Nonstop Nikhil, but things just happen sometimes, and you have to film exactly what it's like to be traveling. I told you I would be showing you the ups and the downs. I escaped the spider in the apartment, and I unlocked the door, and I left, and I came to meet Hassan again. And so we're walking around Ziguinchor, and so he gave me another tidbit, is that in the culture here, the big sister of your mother, who we would normally call your aunt, is still called your mother. So when he was telling me that his mother is building a house in this part of town, well, I asked him, wait, I thought you told me your mother lives in the village, and he was like, oh wait, no, we also refer to our aunt on our mom's side as our mother. So I guess that goes to show how the sense of family works here. Continuing our walk through Ziguinchor, and Hassan was just telling me about the marabout. They're a sort of mystic healer or saintly figure, and each family has their own marabout that they go to and they seek consultations from, and they can give you all sorts of advice or knowledge or tools to avoid anything that it might be dangerous to you and your family. So one example would be they might give you something to avoid the presence of snakes. I need something to avoid the presence of spiders today. They might also give you some natural local products that if you apply it to yourself, it can avoid you being struck by a knife or being shot at. And so people normally wear these kind of things to protect themselves. So we got on the topic of the marabout because particularly of these protective tools. Because there are actually rebels in this area who want to create their own state apart from the Senegalese state. As I explained to you before, Casamance is almost separated entirely from northern Senegal, where the center of power is in Dakar, by Gambia right in the middle. So these rebels live in the forest surrounding the area, and sometimes even launch attacks here in Ziguinchor as a way to instigate their fight for independence. Hassan was just trying to show me a video of these marabouts using this natural product which protects them from being struck by knives. Apparently everybody has their own marabout here to protect themselves from evil powers. Even the presidents, very prominent figures. And I'm not particularly surprised that there is a rebel movement here. If you think about it, a lot of the wealth is concentrated in the north of the country, and then you have a whole other state in the middle. And in the south, it's a very different culture, as you've seen. People also speak a different language. There's a completely different demographic here, and it's a different terrain. It's completely sub-Saharan, whereas you have the Sahel in the north. And it's so easy to just hide in the nearby forests and train and group and then launch your attacks in the city. And also, Hassan was telling me that they often traffic in arms and training in people between the nearby borders, which if you go not so far away, you're in Gambia. And if you go not so far away in the south, you're in Guinea-Bissau. So it's a perfect, it serves as a perfect staging ground. The area we're walking through right now is a pretty newly developed neighborhood. And it was, even up until 1998, one would definitely not enter this neighborhood for fear of landmines or other violent attacks. It used to all just be a forest. But now it very much is a part of the city, and you can see all the residential construction behind me, and you don't even feel like you've really left the city at all. Donc nous sommes au coin de la ville maintenant, un peu dehors de la ville.
Voilà,
oui.
un peu dehors de la ville.
Et la ville, ils s'agrandissent avec le temps.
Ils s'agrandissent avec le temps.
Ouais.
Et même là-bas, la ville là, où est-ce que nous étions hier, la ville, à la ville.
Ouais.
Ici même peut devenir un jour la ville.
Et il y a beaucoup de gens qui sont émigrés du village pour venir ici
oui, beaucoup.
pour trouver du travail,
Et pour échapper à la guerre.
de l'emploi et comme ça.
Voilà, il y a
Oui.
beaucoup.
Donc chaque année, Ziguinchor est devenu plus grand.
Plus grand.
Ouais.
Oui. Parce que
C'est
là-bas
bon.
au village, il y a la guerre,
Ouais.
il y a les rebelles, il y a tout.
Ouais.
Donc eux, en même temps, ils s'enfuient, ils viennent ici pour
se protéger.
Pour se protéger.
Ouais.
Trouver du travail.
Oui, il y a du
Il
com.
y a du com, il y a tout.
Ouais.
En tout cas.
Oui, c'est bon. Donc la plupart des gens qui habitent ici, ils sont du village.
Ils sont du village. La
Ouais.
plupart, ils sont du village. Ici, dans chaque famille que tu frappes, là,
Ouais.
il a une maison au village. Moi, quand je serai grand, je veux devenir comme elle.
Ouais.
Avoir une maison.
Une
Non,
maison, Inch'Allah.
Voilà, c'est ça.
Une maison à Dakar.
Non, ici, Dakar, c'est l'enfer sur terre. Dakar, il y a beaucoup trop de défense.
So we're at the house that's under construction. This is Hazem's family's house right here on the outskirts of Ziguinchor. I will tell you, everywhere in the world, you will still have that new house smell. It's still the same new house smell. That's kind of refreshing and kind of takes me home. But yeah, you can see this house has been under construction for about 2 years. So it's still a work in progress, but it looks like it's going to be pretty nice. Yeah, still a bunch of cement in these rooms. It's probably going to be a bathroom, something of the like. But yeah, I would definitely not mind staying here. It's nicer than the places I'm staying at right now. Yeah, pretty large room. Hassan's aunt was telling me that about 12 family members will be living here once it finishes construction towards the end of 2023. So there are 2 bedrooms which have private bathrooms attached, and then 2 bedrooms, one for the guys and one for the girls. It's a total of 4 bedrooms and 12 people. And then in addition to that, you have everything else, the kitchen, public bathrooms, public showers that are just open to everybody. And then you have a little garden out back and the salon where people can hang out. We're walking through the campus of the University of Hassan Sek of Ziguinchor. It's apparently one of the biggest universities in Senegal, definitely the biggest here in Ziguinchor. You can see some students still being taught in the classrooms, even on a Sunday. See students outside with their laptops. Definitely a university atmosphere like any other. There are people who live on the campus here in the dorms, so there's still a bunch of activities going on. There's a little bank, there's places for people to eat, cafeterias and the like. It's also a pretty recently constructed university. As we said before, this whole area used to be the terrain of rebels. So before the 21st century, even in the late 1990s, you would be here and hear gunshots in the distance. It's about 2-3 p.m. right now. The last couple stops we've made are military sites, so it didn't really do much filming there. But it's a lot of the places where Hassan's friends are currently deployed, including one of the largest bases of Ziguinchor and of all of Casamance, southern Senegal. But I'm also surprised at how easily they just let people in. Any of these large military bases in the U.S., nobody would be able to enter without actually having a reason to be there, let alone a foreign citizen like me holding a camera, just easily walking in and meeting people inside. But I didn't try to film, obviously. Rather than that, just taking a walk around here. This particular area is where the main road leading south is located, and that's the main road leading south towards the border with Guinea-Bissau. So you see a lot of the typical cargo vehicles carrying goods which are manufactured here in Senegal and headed toward the much smaller country to the south, Guinea-Bissau. After spending 2 days here, I'm really surprised that there isn't even a stronger independence movement for the southern part of Senegal, because the identity of this region is just so strong, and people are so proud of being from this region of Senegal. But regardless, you still see so much of the military here, such a presence of the Senegalese state here. There are military positions all over due to that conflict. Even as recently as March of 2021, Hassan was telling me that there was an attack in the forest near Ziguinchor, and the rebels managed to kill one and injure 5 others, and they were brought to a hospital nearby for medical treatment. But I mean, even if, look at the water bottle I'm holding in my hands, the brand of water is called Casamance, which means from Casamance. We went to visit another one of the families, which Hassan introduces as his father, mother, sisters, brothers. And from my cultural lens, it's just difficult to accept how people are just very okay with and don't question just me walking into their home and sitting down when I'm just a random individual. But I guess it really characterizes and personifies the whole takes a village to raise a child saying that we have in the US and probably don't practice in the US anymore, or if ever.
Donc ça c'est le plat qu'on appelle sebon. C'est fait à base de riz.
Oui.
Donc ça c'est du crevette, ce sont des fruits de mer naturels. Les poissons, il y a l'oignon, les crabes. Voilà. Ça c'est du niteton. C'est pas comment on appelle ça en français. Il n'y a pas encore de nom. Mais ça sont les huîtres.
Ah oui, ce sont les épices.
Voilà.
Oui.
Qui les accompagne. Ça c'est du carotte, poivron.
Oui.
Et ça c'est l'huile de palme.
Ah oui, l'huile de palme.
Ça c'est de l'aubergine. Ça c'est de l'aubergine.
Oh, l'aubergine.
Ouais.
Oh, oui, oui.
On a mis ça de côté.
Oh, oui, délicieux.
C'est comme ça. Donc c'est
Voilà.
c'est un plat naturel.
Le spécialiste aussi est là.
Et ce plat, c'est fait surtout ici à Casamance?
Oui.
C'est juste à Casamance?
Non, l'étendue du Sénégal, ça se mange partout, mais bon. Ici en Casamance aussi on favorise le plat.
Ah oui, c'est bon. Bon appétit.
Merci.
Elle c'est la grande spécialiste
De ce plat.
de ce plat.
Comme vous avez dit hier, les cuisinières.
Voilà, c'est elle la cuisinière en chef.
Ouais.
Voilà, c'est elle. Voilà, c'est elle qui programme tout.
Ouais. Gonna enjoy our lunch today. Merci à vous.
Voilà.
Oui. Bon appétit
Grâce à
à
elle,
tous.
commence tout ça. Bon appétit à
Ouais,
tous.
bon appétit à tous.
Voilà.
This is one of Hassan's cousins, and he loves explaining and telling everybody about the life in the villages here in Casamance. So I've been telling him he needs to get a camera. I mean, he has a camera. He just needs to start opening up a channel and guiding people through the life here. Oui. Tu dois faire des vidéos comme ça pour vous présenter au monde la région que tu aimes beaucoup.
Je pourrais faire, mais j'aurais des complexes. Parce que je n'ai pas de bras longs. Les gens qui pourront m'aider pour faire ces genres de vidéos là.
Non, tu peux.
Seul.
Non, je fais ça tout seul. Tu peux le faire dans ta propre langue. Il ne faut pas être en français ou en anglais ou comme ça.
Oui, je peux le faire en diola et en français.
Pourquoi pas?
Si, je peux le faire. Tu sais que moi seul ici en Afrique, ça va être difficile. Parce que quand je fais ça, les Africains, ce qu'ils sait, c'est petit quoi. Parce qu'il peut dire, ah, ce jeune homme-là, il croit qu'il est intelligent, il fait des choses qui sont bizarres. C'est ça.
Non, c'est pas bizarre. Tu peux, mais, par exemple, au match maintenant, tu peux dire, c'est ce qui se passe ici, c'est ce qui se passe là-bas. Donc c'est plus simple. It's now evening time here in Ziguinchor. It's my last evening here before I actually leave Senegal. And I'm spending it with Hassan and his cousins. We're just going to be walking around town. I quite honestly don't actually know what's going to be happening. But there's so much activity going on here that it can't be a bad time. So this afternoon, after we had our lunch of c'est bon, which is literally just the French word c'est bon, meaning it's good, just because it's a dish that so many people like to enjoy here in Casamance, we then just hung out with the cousins. They were both just trying to meet halfway with our French. For them, it's not their native language. They speak Jola or Wolof as their most native, comfortable languages. but they get by in French, and then I also like am getting by in my French, so we're just having a good time together in the salon in the apartment. Okay.
Mamadou ki wol ni
Nge, how can I say you?
voilà Inge Karesom voilà
Inge Karasom?
Nickel
Inge Karasom.
Mamadou
Abaraka.
Voilà, c'est ça.
But it's so funny that like French is neither of our actual languages, but it's what we have to use because we have nothing else at the moment. So I just learned today about something completely new that I'd never heard of. Everyone was talking about this nut called mud. And it's not like mud like dirt, but we had to actually go look quite a bit to find a translation. And there's no translation that we commonly would understand in English, but it's called Saba Senegalese, so just like Senegalese Saba. But it's a very close relative to a tamarind, and it tastes just like that. So on le boit comme un jus.
Voilà.
Oui. Oh, et on peut utiliser pour cuisiner. Okay. So you can drink it like a juice, like Hassan was right now, and it's delicious. It just tastes like a tamarind juice, like a sweeter version of tamarind juice. And then they also use it soaked in water for cooking, so it gives a nice taste to the dishes. Pour quel plat on utilise
Quand on cuisine le tchèvre, on peut l'utiliser aussi.
Okay.
Comme quand on cuisine le riz blanc aussi,
Oui.
on peut l'utiliser avec la sauce.
Oh, oui. So it's actually used for one of the most prominent dishes, chebujen, kind of tamarind kind of flavor, is the mud. C'est très bon.
En tout cas, c'est très bon.
Ouais. So it seems like Sunday night is when you have your wedding ceremony parties here. So the party we were at before was a pre-wedding party, and I'm not really sure what this one is, but c'est la fête avant le mariage ou ouais. Ouais.
On va voir le DJ.
Ouais, on y va. I guess we're going to take a look at this party up close. The DJ seems a bit interesting. My favorite thing about stopping by these parties is that it just shows people genuinely displaying their joy with absolutely no care as to who is watching them or anything else going on in their life. And you can imagine not all these people are extremely wealthy where they just have a bunch of leisure time, but when they do, you completely take advantage of it. You live life to the fullest. It's completely YOLO. And it's amazing to see. And especially when there's that narrative in the US of places in Africa just being miserable, devoid of joy, devoid of resources, devoid of any sentiment, full of war and the like. I mean, this is a contrary narrative to the dominant script. This kind of stuff isn't shown on the daily news in the US or in the West, but it's a part of daily life here. Definitely, I mean, we've run into multiple parties just on a Sunday night here in a small town in Senegal. Good morning, everyone. It's a Monday, November 28th today. I'm hoping that you all enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about Ziguinchor, the family structures here, how social structures operate, and just the cultural lens through which Senegalese people, at least here in Casamance, see their family and their family friends and close relatives. It's really, really different from how we do things in the US and how many other Western cultures seem to view family and social structures. So I figured it would be something important for you all to witness. I had a great time here. I thank my hosts. I only met Hassan after striking up a conversation on the boat from Dakar. So that's how I made this happen and got to have a closer look at family life here in Senegal. If you had all enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and then I'll see you at our next destination. Bye. Oh, and P.S. I needed to add this since I talked about the Casamance conflict quite a bit in yesterday's episode. I read a little bit more into the conflict, and like any sort of separatist conflict, it's got multiple dimensions to it. There was a group that was particularly led the charge for the separatist struggle here in Casamance, and their main issues were that most of the natural resources which were extracted from this part of Senegal, the wealth from the profits of those natural resources were not seen and were not invested back into this area. Rather, they were used and invested in the north of Senegal, which is where Dakar, the capital, is. It's really that economic divide, or the divide that the wealth generated from the land here in Casamance was never felt by the people here. So people complain and they have grievances that the roads aren't built here. There isn't the same infrastructure that you find here that you would find in Dakar, for example. And that's definitely true from everything I've seen. The highways and everything that you have up north are completely different from the largely sand, dirt roads you see here in the south. And so that has sort of given way to that armed struggle between the Senegalese military representing the state and the rebels here in the south, for which the violence has continued from the 20th century up until today. So there's been a series of back and forth in which guerrilla attacks have targeted and created casualties on the Senegalese military side, and then the Senegalese military has also responded with operations which have killed dozens and if not hundreds of civilians over the years. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I complicate that narrative a little bit since I only heard it from Hassan earlier. But again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not my focus here in Ziguinchor. So if you're at all interested, it's a low-level ongoing conflict. So make sure you take a look at it in more depth online. Okay, actually, bye now.